it's been cool for me to see in a type of asset like this blow up, because my level of thinking around investing and stuff is way different to what it used to be like when I was younger. So I guess for some context, I brought A2 milk at 10 cents and sold it for 40 cents and thought, fuck yeah, I'm out at the top here. Like, I've nailed this. And then it was 80 cents. I'm like, oh, okay. And then it went to $20 something, right? And that's like funny to look back on and whatnot. But now I see old versions of me in the comments on Instagram, like, oh, it's too late to buy Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
you're like, how have you come to that conclusion? But we want to tell ourselves things so that we can validate the inaction that we take, or someone that's like, it's too risky. And now I want to understand from those people, like, oh, how do you know it's too late? Because it was too late to buy A2 milk at 40 cents.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were getting out. And then it went to 80. Then it somehow was in the $20 mark. And we're like, okie dokie. Do you want to buy zero shares at $5? Yeah, I do, but I can't because I've got a credit card because I've got shit financial behavior.
Yeah.
And then when they were $7, I'm like, I'm not paying $7 for them. I'll put an order in at $6.50, wait for it to get to there. Never got to $6.50.
Yeah.
So it's I shouldn't say it's funny, but it intrigues me to now watch people and go like, oh, I used to be like that. Like, oh, it's too risky. It's too late.
Yeah. You see it with property as well.
Yeah.
And not know.
It's pretty much any financial market you see that because of our time preference.
And
Or
unit
even,
bias as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Then I did see a good one was like, oh, it's a bubble. And someone's like, oh, okay, like, how come? And they're like, oh, I don't really know. It just seems like it's just the price is way too high. And you're like, okay. But the level of education that we have to then have so much conviction to tell people like, don't do something. It's the top, it's the bottom, it's too risky, it's not too risky. Is phenomenal to watch people have such a heavy opinion on something without really...
Smart people as well, though.
yeah, true.
Yeah, like 2017, doing a podcast recording with a very, very smart individual who did own Bitcoin and sold it proudly at $4,000 because he made a profit. And he was saying, you got to get out right now. You got to get out. I'd only just gotten in. Come on, man. We got to get some of the action as well.
Yeah.
But now you got to get out.
Yeah, that time preference thing is so interesting to think about. After a while, it gives you, if you learn about Bitcoin, it gives you a hiding in that regard, It just makes you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
And it consistently has, actually. There isn't a time currently, as of like today, that you could have bought Bitcoin and it not give you a hiding. Like, it's showing you right now what it does.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the cool things about investing is you can think you really know what you're doing, but then you don't actually have all of the information. A very simplistic Luke learnt that every person who walks into the casino roughly loses $75 a head. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but when I learnt that, I'm like, oh man, I'm investing in Sky City.
Yeah. And avoiding the casino.
This
And
is
not
so
going
good.
anymore.
Yeah.
So I banned myself from the casino, invest into the casino, and I still lost half my money. I'm like, how has this happened? This was the easiest investment ever.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Still didn't work.
Yeah.
And
That's markets, though, right? It'll rip your face off every time you think you got it figured out.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing I think about it is that you get to learn some of the stuff and you get to learn a bit more about yourself, how you're going to react. But that's what I actually, going back to what we were talking about before, with property going so well for so long, there's just been a one-way train that people are so scared to take a form of risk. And we did an entire podcast on this of me trying to work out, I wonder if that's part of why Kiwis don't like taking risk, is because we're so scared of losing. Because, as soon as you go and tell someone like, oh, I lost half of my money in Sky City without going through the front door, they're like, what the hell? Who do you think you were investing in that? Like, should have got a rental, mate. Come on.
Yeah.
And so we're constantly like, I better just pull back from risk.
Yeah.
Because there's too many people that are going to have a success story about what they did perfectly.
Give me all the risk, mate. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Where there's risk, there's return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always think about it the wrong way around, right? Like, where there's reward, there's risk. But sometimes when there's risk, there's reward.
Yeah. And time, man, it's hindsight is so helpful in this regard. Like you can go look at like Amazon stocks through the late 90s, early 2000s and the tech crash and all of this stuff. And at the time, it could have been like when you're buying Amazon at the top because you're like, oh, this company's good. It's going to change the world. You know, he's onto something, selling books online. And then you lose 75% of your net worth. That's the same as the person was feeling who bought Bitcoin at the last all-time high and it crashed. But if you look back now, any time in that period would have been a good time to buy.
And you know what the growth rate of Amazon has been over, I think it's 25 years.
Yeah, it would be now.
25%.
Wow.
So I could be wrong on those numbers.
Created,
but
it's basically
it's the same as what we were talking about with Bitcoin before.
It's created multiple billionaires too. Like there's shareholders that became billionaires just out of holding the stock. You know, it's wild to think about. And yeah, time does mitigate. Well, it doesn't remove risk because you never know what the company's going to do. They might be blockbuster.
Yeah.
But if you have a theory and then put it over a period of time and think about it with the timepiece involved, that definitely helps you make decisions.
Yeah, and that's where I guess there's probably another conversation around concentration and diversification.
Yeah, for sure.
Which ties into that whole rebalancing
Diversify, what's that?
Is that a crypto?
Yeah, it's a diversify coin.
Yeah.